Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the show today, a leading Nevada attorney and water issues. From the law firm of Jones Vargas, discussing a variety of issues, John Sande is here, and we'll talk about water issues in northern Nevada with former PUC Chairman Tom Stevens. And on the Power Pundit panel today, Chris Wicker, Bilyeu, and Mike Dillon. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by John Sande, who's a partner in the law firm of Jones Vargas. Welcome to the program. Always a pleasure to have you here. Let's start out, first of all, with the Democratic proposal for a lottery. Do you think this is going to fly with the gaming industry?
I don't think the gaming industry has a major concern about it. I think the real question, first of all, it's going to take about 5 years even to get it on. And I think what we have to look at carefully is, will that siphon off money that normally would go to gaming, especially in northern Nevada, where we have a difficult time right now attracting people because of California gaming.
But MGM is involved in a place that sells lottery tickets down in southern, just over the bordering to California, down in the southern portion of the state. Gold Ranch is one of the highest sellers of lottery tickets over on the California side of northern Nevada. Wouldn't it make sense to retain those dollars here?
Well, again, it's something I don't believe that the gaming industry is going to be opposed to, but it's just a question of whether or not you get your biggest bang for your buck with existing gaming as it is now, or with a lottery. There have been some proposals to say that you buy your lottery ticket at gaming establishments. That's another possibility. But overall, there is no opposition that I've heard of.
Okay, interesting. Let's talk about prescription drugs. Assembly Majority Leader Barbara Buckley wants to have importation of drugs from Canada. You represent some pharmaceutical companies. What's their thought? Isn't there this just huge trend, of which I absolutely support, of either re-importing drugs or working out some kind of deal? Wouldn't it make sense for the drug companies to actually realize that the political tide has changed here?
Again, my clients, drug companies, do not take take a negative position on any legislation. The problem is that you have little Canada up there, and how much, how are they going to cooperate? And then secondly, is this going to be a federal issue, which I think ultimately it will have to be resolved at the federal level and not the state level.
Yeah, and the reality is that if we were to legalize the reimportation of drugs from Canada, or importation of drugs from Canada, because they do manufacture them there as well, Canada will be out of drugs in about 15 minutes.
That's correct.
So, but do you feel on a national level that the tide is changing when you have people like Trent Lott saying, "I'm tired of explaining to my mother why she has to pay so much more for her medicines"?
I think long term, it's just like anything else. Supply and demand will ultimately determine it, and I think it will be decided at the federal level as to whether or not you can import drugs, because there are issues there of safety, depending on where you import it and who's manufacturing it.
But doesn't it make sense for the drug companies themselves to realize that they need to cut a deal here for the citizens of the United States?
I think that they recognize that. I mean, there's a lot of issues out there, because you have a situation where somebody goes and develops a drug and spends millions and millions of dollars, and then what kind of protection do they get? What kind of price can they get? How long before other people can come in and manufacture that same drug? So there are a lot of issues out there, but I believe that it'll be resolved at the federal level rather than the state level.
Okay, let's talk about the rebate that the governor has proposed, $300 per car. Do you think that that's going to come through at this point, as you look at the way the legislature is moving it? Jim Rogers said yesterday on this program that he could happily take all of the surplus money, which is now being estimated at around $1.4 billion between the last biennium and this one coming up. He could take all of that for the university system. Seems to be, as Lynn Hedrick put it, a feeding frenzy going on.
It's what we have now at the legislature. We have a situation where, thank God, we have plenty of money to distribute around. But we're having a booming economy right now. It's not going to last forever, obviously. I think the governor wanted to give something back to the citizens of the state of Nevada, but it's very difficult to determine how to do that. He came up with the registration. I think that there's a lot of issues that will be resolved from a standpoint of the Finance Committee and the Ways and Means Committee, which will be looking carefully at the needs of the state and whether or not the money could be better used now to fund certain programs like you were mentioning, Jim Rogers, or should it go back to the citizens? The concern there being that down the line we may have not enough revenues, and then the question is, where do we get the money at that point in time? Okay, well, what do you think about the citizens' feelings if they don't get any money back? Is there going to be a Prop 13 type revolt? I would not think so. It depends on how it's sold. And first of all, the question is whether or not it'll be rebated. Again, you're talking about an automobile. There's some people that are saying, well, what about people that don't have an automobile? How are they treated? So this is something for the legislature to do. I think that if it is used for other purposes and it's well explained, I personally would not have a problem with that. Okay, that's interesting too. All right. Big merger just announced in the last 24 hours, and we're taping this the Thursday before. What day is it? No, it's Tuesday. Tuesday before President's Day. It's been a long week already. Verizon and MCI announced a $6.7 billion merger. This follows on the heels of the SBC AT&T merger. What is this going to mean for the consumer? I think it's going to be positive. I think that, looking at the telecommunications industry, it's probably the most complex industry that I've seen, and the technology is changing so much that, who knows what's going to be down the line 10 years from now, even a year from now. So I think it's positive so that they can all go and compete against one another. It's a very competitive industry, and you have not only the wires line type companies, but also wireless, and also you have cable, and there's all sorts of technology. So every day there's something new, and pretty soon you're going to be probably talking over the internet, wireless. So it's really amazing. Yeah, and in fact, there are now phone systems available that are literally just internet phone systems. You don't even need to use one of the regular phone companies, and it's incredibly cheaper. And any time a company now makes an investment, it's very difficult to know whether or not it'll be successful or not. So I think what they're doing is they're combining for obviously reasons of having a better ability to compete in the market. But yet just fewer people competing. Fewer people, but there's still tremendous competition out there. Okay, John Sande, always a pleasure. Come back soon. Thanks. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Sunbelt Communication.
If it's hot, it's here at the Pepper Mill. The Pepper Mill has over 500 of the hottest video theme slots. And with the $100,000 Winter Video Theme Slot Fest, there's no smarter time to play these winning machines. Win your share of the money with $2,000 random cash giveaways every Monday and $5,000 drawings every Friday. And new players can get up to $100 free play.
The slots that rock are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you winning?
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we welcome to the program the former chairman of the PUC, currently with Alrus Consulting, Tom Stevens. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Sam.
Good to have you here. I want to point out right away that one of your clients is the Sun Valley General Improvement District.
Right.
And that comes into context here. You've been going to the meetings of the Truckee Meadows Water Authority for about the past year. Why have you been doing that?
Well, when I was on the Public Service Commission, I specialized in the water area, and I handled most of the rate cases for Sierra Pacific's water division and started the water resource planning. And I was interested to see what Temwa was doing and how things were going after, you know, the legacy I thought that we may have created with the water system.
Okay, they were looking for a pretty substantial increase in the price of water to their customers. What did you think about that?
Well, I was concerned because they had a lot of money in the bank. They didn't have a firm capital improvement program, and it just didn't appear to me that they needed a rate increase. And they had a Citizens Advisory Committee that met, and I went to a lot of their meetings, and that committee recommended they not have a rate increase, and yet the staff went forward with a 5.5% overall revenue increase, and some customers, like a 3/4-inch flat customer, was going to get a 20% increase.
A 20% increase?
Yes, for if you are not metered in your regular family home, you were going to get a 20% increase.
The Water Authority tried to justify the increase in a newspaper ad a week or so ago.
Yes.
What did you think of their points there? Because they were talking about...
Well, they said they needed it for their improvements, their capital improvement program. They needed it for arsenic, and they needed it to redesign the rates. Well, the capital improvement program was a work in progress, and the arsenic, they're able to get some low-cost financing from the state treasurer. So I thought you could avoid a rate increase right now and still do those things with the reserves that they had and maybe doing some bonding.
Okay, last week they had a meeting, and the numbers that came out were substantially lower than that they were asking for.
The only people who opposed the rate increase in any technical way was the Sun Valley General Improvement District, and our team, I think, raised enough questions with the board that they questioned their staff very carefully, and after a long, tortured virtual session with a computer that was overhead that they kept changing the assumptions on, they decided to go with a 3% rate increase across the board instead of like the 5.5%. So everybody's rates proportionately will be less of an increase than they were proposed to be.
Okay, so the folks that are going to get the 20% increase, what are they looking at now?
Oh, they're looking at around 11% increase.
All right, and that's still a substantial increase.
Yes.
What do you think, you know, Tumwa's been in existence for around 5 years now. What do you think of the job that they're doing?
I think they're doing an excellent job on the system. They've done good water resource planning, which looks a lot like the water resource planning we used to do. I think they deliver good water. I think they've got good people that are working for them. But it's an expensive system, and I think they need to worry more about holding the rates down, too.
Okay, now what's the relationship between the Sun Valley Water District and or the Improvement District?
Well, the Sun Valley General Improvement District has 6,000 working class customers, which translates into about 15,000 people living there. And they take their water wholesale from the Truckee Meadows Water Authority. In other words, there's a pipe that runs up there, and then they take it and they distribute it. They have tanks, they have fire hydrants, they have the whole 9 yards to their customers. And that's what the relationship is. They're a big wholesale customer of Tumwa, and they were slated for a 15% rate increase.
Well, again, very substantial. Now, what are they looking at now?
Well, they're looking at 55% of that, which is around 9%, 8-9%, and they saved themselves money, but they also saved by opposing the rate increase about $2 million for all the ratepayers in Reno. And if they hadn't been involved in it, I'm sure this rate increase would have quietly been approved without any reduction.
Southern Nevada Water Authority has made no bones about it, that they're very concerned about things that are going to be going on at the legislature this time around.
Yes.
What do you think there may be involvement between Tumwa and the legislature?
I've heard that some of the legislators are concerned. Heidi Gansert actually appeared at one of the Tumwa board meetings. They're very concerned about Tumwa's rates and how they've been going up, and there's also been some concern expressed about Tumwa's plan to make all the flat rate customers go to meters whether they want to or not. And so there's some legislation over there, and how it's going to turn out, I don't know. But
doesn't that make sense for them to go to meters?
This was a flat rate system for many, many years, and the oldest homes in town are on a flat rate system, and they've been going to meters gradually because all new homes have to have meters, and when you sell your home and a new person moves in, they automatically have a meter, and the old flat rate customers got to stay on the flat rate if they wanted. Now they pay actually more than the metered rate customers, and they have the option of going to a meter voluntarily. For example, I used to be a flat rate customer, and I voluntarily went to a meter, but a lot of people don't want to do that. And they, you know, the flat rates go back 80 years, so if they want to stay there, maybe they should be allowed to stay there. These are, gradually that's disappearing.
Well, you know, with the growth that we have, shouldn't we be looking towards doing something like the Southern Nevada Water Authority is doing with their buyback program, where if you take out turf, that they pay you to do it?
I think that's a great program that Las Vegas Valley Water District offers to its customers. They pay so much per 1,000 square feet of turf that they take out, and what that does is it kind of finances the new landscaping for these people. If you're a 65-year-old customer living in your house that you've lived in for 30 years and it has a flat rate, you don't want to go to a meter rate, which might be higher with all your landscaping around there, but yet you can't afford on your fixed income to remove it. That program would allow you to afford it.
Okay, we're going to take some time out. Will you stick around and join us on the Pundit panel?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we're back with a fine panel today on the show. Bilyeu joins us, along with Chris Wicker, and Tom Stevens joins us as well. Welcome to all of you. Bill, last week we had Interim Chancellor Jim Rogers of the University System, who is also the owner of Sunbelt Broadcasting, on which this program airs both in Reno and Las Vegas and on cable down in Las Vegas. Now he has the power to fire presidents. Do you think these guys eye on anybody in particular?
He might, but it's probably known only to him. There's one I can think of that he should, but I'm not too happy with the decision by the regents to give him that power, quite frankly. I'm glad that due to Rosenberg's insistence, they at least put in a due process requirement that they could, that a fired president could appeal to the Board of Regents. I mean, we had the travesty of what happened in Southern Nevada by the Board of Regents with the president. That was enough right there to say, wait a minute, when a collective body can screw up that badly, are you going to give it the power to really screw up to one individual?
But don't you think the appeal to the Board of Regents effectively still places the power in the hands of the Board of Regents?
The ultimate power, yes.
I mean, yeah. it gives the chance to the prerogative of recommending that he be fired, but the actual final decision is going to be made by the Board of Regents. There's no president being fired who isn't going to appeal it unless it's a personal indiscretion that they're being fired for.
Yeah, but that's true. They have the ultimate power. Whether or not they will have the stomach or the will to exercise that power, who knows? But that wasn't as disturbing. That part of the interview was not as disturbing as the other part that I heard concerning this general prohibition ban on lobbying by the individual institutions, that the presidents have to do what basically the chancellor says. That bothered me a great deal, because the simple fact of the matter is that there is disparate treatment currently amongst the different campuses. The largest campus we have, which is in Southern Nevada with the most students, if you will, is getting short-ended on the money, in my view. There are all a host of things, and to have a czar in charge bothers me a great deal.
Well, I think that the institution should be strong enough that they can go and separately come up with some policies. There's got to be coordination, but I still don't think they should be that lockstep with what the chancellor says.
Well, okay, it sounds good. All right, I'm the chief executive and I perceive wrongdoing here or something like that. I can move in and get rid of this person. But the obverse is true too, is if I'm the chief executive and you are one of my presidents and you are doing wrong, I can keep that from the board.
Well, I think that's the point exactly. You can bring business models to government, and in a lot of ways that works, but this might be one step too far to put it under a business model.
Yeah. How difficult would it be, because Jim says he does want to step down as chancellor, that there's a search going on currently. If that search fails, he said he would stick around long enough for them to get another search taken care of, but he wants to become vice chancellor of development. Could any chancellor really be able to operate with somebody as strong a personality as Jim Rogers sitting behind him?
I'm not sure I'd want to be in charge with his office next to mine.
He said he would move his office from the...
That's, to draw a political analogy, Chris, that'd be like having Bill Clinton as vice president and Al Gore as president.
Nobody would run for president.
Let's talk about this idea of a sales tax holiday. Is that a good idea, bad idea?
All depends on what day my wife's picked out to go shopping.
Well, yeah, but for the average consumer, it'd be a great idea, but you might lose a lot of income for the tax base, and you've got to weigh those two things, because people would run down and buy new cars, etc. Maybe they should limit the sales tax holiday and say that it can only apply to back-to-school items or to clothes and books or smaller items, rather than people going out and buying $5,000 plasma TVs and Lexuses.
No, I think
sales tax.
I think it's just a gimmick, and I think it's a gimmick, and either the sales tax is something good that we need and it's set at the right rate, or it's not. But to have a gimmick where we have a holiday and people that happen to have the cash right then and there to go take advantage of it, and others don't get paid for another 2 weeks, to me, I don't think it's a good idea at all.
Okay. I like the idea of tax holidays. I wish we had 365-day holiday.
Spoken like a true conservative. Okay, we've only got about 30 seconds here, but this lottery idea seems to be gaining traction here. Do you think that there's a chance that we could start seeing a change in the Constitution to allow it?
First time since in my memory, I think there is at least an outside possibility we're going to see something.
I think the needs of education have become so great that there's a whole lot more impetus to it now, and a whole lot more reason.
It's a long process, and gaming's going to oppose it.
You think so?
Yeah, I would think so.
But I don't think as strongly as they once did.
Yeah, okay. MGM is, of course, selling lottery tickets down in Southern California. Quite interesting that, too. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, the folks at Van Dyne Roofing can get it fixed with their eyes closed.
Where do I want to go? Me? Denver. Anchorage, Alaska.
Atlanta. Vancouver.
Chicago.
We can help you get where you need to be or want to be. Reno Tahoe International Airport. Anytime, any place, anywhere.
Anywhere? Minneapolis. St. Paul.
Over 170 daily flights, non-stop service to 19 cities and connections everywhere else. Reno Tahoe International Airport, dedicated to moving you.
Jupiter.
If you live in northern Nevada, you can hear all 4 Nevada Newsmakers on Sunday mornings from 9 until 11. Coming up on Monday, John Sande and Tom Stevens. We'll see you then.